Hello, everyone. I want to welcome everyone to a special edition of our Credit Safe webinars. We'll talk about why it's special and what's going on today here in just a minute. But I would like to introduce myself. My name is Nathan Kolb. I am the host of Credit Safe webinars for the US. And it's my pleasure each week to just come in, talk to you, join you, and discuss with leaders in the industry about issues affecting the B2B industry. And that's what we try and do each and every week as we present these webinars. To get started, I want to let you know that we want to engage. We want this to be a back and forth discussion and a conversation with you. So the questions and answer section is open and will remain open the entire webinar. The way you ask us a question, leave us a comment, say something nice or not so nice to us, is you go to the bottom of your screen. There's a little text bubble that says Q&A, and you can just leave a comment or a question right there at any point during the webinar. We'll take those comments and questions and all of that all throughout the webinar. I will be monitoring that 24/7 and we'll be able to go right through this. Just a heads up as well, this webinar is being recorded. If you want to see a recording of it, you will, if you're registered and you're in this webinar, you will get a follow-up email after this webinar within 24 to 36 hours afterwards. And it will have the link to go to the recording of this and see some more information about other webinars and information regarding the topic today. So like I said, this is a special webinar. We actually are talking about culture and creating company culture. It's not something we always talk about. It's not credit specific, but it is something that's important to all of our customers, to our employees, to kind of anyone in the B2B space, especially right now with the COVID pandemic that's affecting the globe. And I'm excited to have the CEO of Credit Safe Group, Cato Syverson, here with me. Cato, as I said, is the CEO. He has driven the way in the way this company has transformed business information industry. Cato is a graduate of Oslo University and began his career in banking before moving into credit and business information. In 2000, he moved to the UK and oversaw the rapid growth of Credit Safe's business there in the UK before taking on greater responsibility. And in the last 15 years, he's managed Credit Safe's transformation to a global player with new businesses launched across Europe, Asia, North America. He's a dynamic sales leader, a charismatic personality, an inspirational presenter, as you're going to see. He's a lot of fun. I'm excited to just kind of go back and forth with him here in just a minute. Cato's married, lives with his family in Cardiff, Wales, and I think he's going to talk about that here in a second. But Cato, welcome. It is a pleasure to have you on with us.
Thank you very much. It's great to be here.
Absolutely.
It's obviously a topic I'm quite passionate about, so I'm looking forward to this session.
Yes, and I mean, where are we coming from? We're all remote. I'm coming from my kitchen in Virginia in the U.S. Now you're kind of in a little special spot as well.
Yeah, I'm in my daughter's bedroom because I've been allowed to take it over. Sort of partly moved out, so it's okay.
Right.
But this is technically the head office of Credit Safe Group.
There we go. It's the world headquarters. That makes sense.
I am wearing chinos and flip-flops, but you can't.
There we go. We've got it. It's I've got the vest on today, so we're good there. And I'm surprised not the sleeves aren't rolled up here.
That's. I mean, it's I'm trying to find the balance here.
There we go.
Yeah.
So let's kind of jump in here, if you would, Cato, and just kind of take me back as all of this started to happen in the world. And I'm talking about COVID when I say that. Kind of what was going on with you, not only as a person, but also as the head of this global organization? What take me through that timeline of what was going on.
Yeah, I mean, we were all having the news and, it's been bird flus and other stuff in the past, but, this one felt a bit more real, didn't it? But you never really know where these things goes. We're probably a bit fortunate about being so close to it as we were. We had an incident in sort of late February where one of the field reps been to that place where the big outbreak was in Italy. So we put all the field reps then working from home at the time, and we started testing. We could see what was happening in Italy. At the same time, on the 29th of February, which only happens every fourth year, I was going skiing in the Alps with friends from Norway in the north of Italy. So obviously we decided we were flying to Munich, so we could go to Austria instead, and they only had 8 cases. And we were only there for 5 days, but when we went home, it was like 600 cases. And the one place we actually couldn't get a place in was Ischgl, which just, you know, you had like 150 people with the virus just from Norway, from that one. And that was the main outburst. There was one bar there. So when I went home then, you know, I could sort of feel I've been, ooh, this was pushing it, wasn't it? You know, some people were saying maybe you shouldn't go. And yeah, we did wash our hands and all that, but obviously it was close. So that sort of gave me a little bit of a shock. And when we got back into the office and we heard that families of staff in Italy and all that were doing it. So we took it seriously. We started like the plan B already early February about what would it take to have 1,200 staff working from home. And because we've been working on thin clients, we were it was a big challenge because half of our staff didn't have a laptop.
Right.
So luckily we started with Italy. They rented the laptops. We bought Chromebooks and other things. And even those things were running out. So just because we started early, so Italy went full lockdown on the 6th of March. And on the 10th, we decided to lock it down from the 13th. So I contacted all the countries and there was quite a bit of resistance, as you can imagine. We're talking about NATO, you know, so Germany, Holland, Sweden, and even the US was a bit like, hang on a minute, isn't it overreacting? Can we just please stay in the office for another 3 weeks? But we pushed it through and we're quite lucky with that because, 4 or 5 days later, it was really kicking off. There's a huge challenge with this, but because we have to invest like almost $1 million in Citrix licenses, in capacity and in laptops and these things. But on the other hand, we didn't get the consequence of stopping production.
Right.
So yeah, it was special times, then it all kicked off, which within like 2 weeks in Europe, everybody had it.
Sure. Yeah, and in defense of some of those folks, we didn't know what we didn't know at that time. The Germany, UK, Italy, everybody was kind of hitting at different times, and here in the US, we seem to think we're invincible to things. So that was, I'm sure, part of our look at it. But like you said, within just a couple of weeks, everybody just got that idea that this was
credit safe's perspective. I'm close to Italy and Norway, and it was really happening there. And so I've even had my CFO and others saying, really, isn't it? But I'm very glad we did it.
Yes, we were very early in that whole thing. I will say that we had done that. And I mean, with that being the case, what type of adjustments did you see, both as a company, but especially as the CEO, saying we're going to have to change? There's no way around it. But you had to make some adjustments, obviously, because we were all going to be from home suddenly.
Yeah. So lockdown is one thing, but I think a week later in, we were all scared, weren't we? It was really, I never experienced something like this before, and most people haven't. So there was this fear points. How am I going to visit my old mum in Norway? How exposed are we? My kids, my youngest kid, was still in school. So in the end, we pulled him out before the lockdown came as well. Right. But then you start thinking about, what about our business? What's happening here?
Sure.
Very clearly, this is going to have big economic consequences. So I would say for like the first 6 weeks, we were almost running on adrenaline. It felt a bit war, wasn't it? So yeah, that's massive challenge with that. And I think especially in Credit Safe, where we always been sort of hard work, hard play, a lot of kickoffs and a bit of rah-rah and those things, all of that was gone, wasn't it?
Right.
There's huge challenges around that because everybody sits at home. And, you know, where we had like the lockdown in Italy was so extreme, you just could go and buy some food and you had to go back in again. And, you know, we had, you know, so many of the staff either living in a tiny flat or living with a huge family, and they didn't even have their own bedroom, you know?
Right.
So how do you deal with that?
Sure.
There's, yeah, it was.
Well, yeah, you've got those personal consequences that are going on, like you said, you know, visiting family or concerned about loved ones or whatever, but then also that professional of, you know, you took over your daughter's bedroom. That's it. You know, that's a big shift for everybody.
But then also, you know, we sort of, what we do is help companies make decisions, and all of a sudden you're thinking, well, how predictive are these school models?
Yes.
Built on the past to predict the future. So
Mm-hmm.
obviously we started right away looking into trying to map the risk industries and these things, which led to the COVID-19 risk indicator, which we launched. But you know, we couldn't clearly see where they was going, and we still sort of can't, can we?
Sure. There's still a lot of unknown.
Yeah. So and you know, most of us wasn't that comfortable with Zoom or Teams and those things as well. So, but it was, yeah, it was special, and we had a lot of fun at the same time, didn't we?
We did, and we're gonna talk about that in a second. But I do want to just kind of jump in and ask one question, and you just hit on it a little bit of as we were shifting that transition from being in person and seeing each other, walking over to somebody's desk and asking them a question or whatever, to this idea of the remote work. Did you have any major concerns or issues, things that you were concerned about as the leader of a company? And if so, how did you start to combat those? How did you start to deal with those?
Yeah, I mean, we very clearly, you know, said, let's focus on the staff health and safety.
Right.
And also from a customer point of view, we definitely going to show that we can help during this period.
Mm-hmm.
Not be like vultures trying to commercialize it.
Right.
We did the free trials to a large extent for those companies that didn't have any service. Right. And we ran this portfolio product with the COVID indicator and those things. Mm-hmm. And I think, you know, we've done well on that. But you know, how do we get people to get out of bed and feel ready to go to work in the morning? Those sorts of things we started doing around that. And you know, setting up an internal news desk with people from marketing, data, and those things, because it was, you know, just to get a picture of what was going on. We spent a lot of time looking at how our customers were still using the product.
Sure.
Because it gives an indication of what part we play, and that was good to see and reassuring that, you know, still massive appetite for our products. We're quite fortunate from the aspect of doing what we do and the fact that we can work from home, isn't it? It's we're lucky with that.
Absolutely. So you kind of mentioned the news desk, and there's been a ton of things I can say as a Credit Safe employee, a ton of different things that have come out, programs, initiatives, whatever you want to call them, that you've helped spearhead and work through. You want to just hit on a bunch of them? I mean, I'm sure you have your favorites and different things.
It was sort of, you know, just making sure we got daily news with that is a bit uplifting and realistic, you know, various groups that were working together. But, you know, I think the big one was Safe FM, which has been a long dream of mine anyway, you know, to our own radio station. I think the highlight was the Easter when we ran 5 days in a row, 24/7 with, I think it was like 35 different DJs. I did one session after midnight as well. Cool. Just playing mostly Tom Waits and stuff like that. My listeners was dropping like mad. But
you're just watching as it went down.
Play my music, isn't it?
I say we blame the time that you were on, not the music.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. No, but it was that was great, you know.
Sure.
So you know, so Easter was quite early, wasn't it? So we, you know, we've got so many in lockdown around the world,
Right.
and you know, so I was either DJing or I was just walking from one Zoom party to another. You know, some disco parties and these things, and you know, you were having a drink with 60% of the staff in during that Easter.
Right. Right.
We managed to stay close to a large extent, and that sort of then evolved into things like Safe TV, where we're doing stuff like this,
Right.
mostly. Um, I was a DJ every day for 3 weeks,
Hmm.
but it sort of went over to talk shows
Sure.
after I finished my playlist really. Uh,
Yeah, ran out. And for folks that don't know, Safe FM is our own radio station where we do have our staff actually be the DJs. Like you get a chance
yeah,
to sign up and play your playlist and have some
yeah,
fun. And we have some good natured criticism, we'll call it, back and forth of what certain
yeah.
people like or don't like. So it's a great way
Best
for us to have
part
that
is
culture.
Best part is when you are DJing, you talk to the staff on Slack on the
Yep.
side. You know, it's a massive engagement there.
Right.
You know, we had live plenty of live sessions as well.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
which is that was some of them were disasters, but mostly pretty good.
Right.
Uh, so yeah, you develop different forums for different discussions and these things. So yeah, it's
Yeah.
we didn't do a broadcast like this that much before either, did we? So, you know,
No.
a lot
No,
of,
yeah, the webinars across the countries, and we've done them in multiple countries in multiple languages.
yeah,
Obviously, I do the one for the U.S., but multiple other countries are doing the same thing.
yeah,
But like you said, we've had fit groups. You know, I know there's a fitness group that was meeting every morning
yeah.
and having a workout session together and getting hyped together for that. And we've had jam sessions live, which we're going to feature here at the end of this.
I think
And
my
like you said,
the curiosity one was sort of when you look at the various cultures in Credit Safe, they had a problem with the workout sessions in Japan
mm-hmm.
because there was a good few that was just watching.
Oh, just enjoy watching other people work out. That can be a workout sometimes, depending on who it is. You can enjoy that. Yeah, I know. Here in the U.S., we've had because we're time difference so much, we can't always be a part of those. But we have our own fit group here, and we do challenges, and we do weekly challenges, or we'll play a game of fitness throughout the day. So in between your calls or your meetings or whatever you're doing stuff. So. Yeah, it's been a great thing and pioneering that. I mean, so those are some of the things that we're seeing in Credit Safe. How are people reacting to that? I mean, I'm sure you hear the good, the bad, and the ugly with all of that. How has that been for Credit Safe customers?
This is all good.
I'm sorry, your credit employees.
Yeah, I mean, it's. I mean, people watch and listen to the stuff they want, don't they?
Right.
And but you know, when we moved into sort of when I did my DJ session turned into be radio shows, and we then used Zoom. You know, the way you interact and you talk to people that you would never talk to as a CEO, that was brilliant. You know, so I was constantly served. You know, look at this girl; she's been with us for 2 months. She's only selling this and that, and we never seen a natural talent like her, and she comes on and tell a story, fitting herself to a certain degree because she's with me. But it's actually really good TV.
Right.
From an internal point of view.
Sure. Yeah. Brand new employee sitting down with the CEO. That's an interesting dynamic for her, I'm sure.
And obviously, I love attention and I like things a bit crazy. So, you know, it was a bit on the edge, some of it, and very much off the cuff, but it's quite entertaining.
Of course. And it makes it fun. I mean, we do all of our webinars live, and we never quite know what we're going to get as we go into it. We have a little bit of a plan, and then we just kind of roll with it.
It's a great way of, you know, finding lots of different heroes, isn't it? In the
sure. Absolutely. And I mean, have we seen that trickle down to the customers as well? The folks that use Credit Safe or want to use Credit Safe, have we seen any results coming from what we're doing as a culture of a company in that regard as well?
Well, I think especially, you know, with us doing the COVID-19 impact indicator where we actually go in and truly try to say, okay, okay, if you got to, I mean, even I've been doing lots of cash flow, forecast to the board, pricing,
Sure.
especially when we were on shore. And of course, we used our own tool. And it's great to see that you actually can truly help, and it's not just about a sales pitch anymore. So yeah, we had loads of good feedback on that.
Yeah, which is great. I mean, I know here in the U.S. we have the Stay Safe program, which is the complimentary program you were talking about. I know it does different names across the different countries.
Yeah.
And the COVID score and just allowing people to have that complimentary has been a huge thing that we've seen a lot of positive from it. And like you said before, bringing that positive news out has been a great thing. And I for one, have been happy to be an employee that is able to do that type of stuff and see that it be part of a company that's doing that. So
we also had lots of cases where the customers were listening to Safe FM.
Really? Okay, that's great.
Answer with their account manager saying, "I'm DJing tonight," and it's just the link on the web, isn't it?
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
Probably,
and that.
I think we had the highest I had was like 450 listeners, and there were probably a few competitors as well. But hey,
that's okay. They can enjoy too, right? We'll be nice. It's okay. Learn what we're doing. And all these folks, just so you know, the folks that are listening and everything, all the links that Cato's talking about that I've referenced and everything, they will all be on the landing page that you'll be linked to in the follow-up email. So you'll be able to get these. You don't have to worry about writing them down or any of that. It'll all be available to you after this. So if you want to join in and watch Cato's shows or listen, if he goes back to DJ on Safe FM for us, if you want to listen to that or find out when your account manager's doing that, go right ahead, give him a shout out, maybe a little good-natured ribbing as well. So I've got to ask, because, I'm an inquiring, curious person, what's next? Like, what's the planning, not only from, nobody knows as far as COVID and everything goes, but from a credit safe perspective, maybe what's next for creating, building this culture even more, and maybe what's next as we go forward as a company?
I think the session you're going to see later was amazing, with how you can actually get people to collaborate. Right. So many failed rock stars in Credit Safe,
That's a great way to put it.
And that kind of interaction where you actually, make tunes together. Obviously, this is how bands are doing it now these days anyway. Mm-hmm. But no, we have to do training internally, and we have to sort of, online. We're evolving a lot into making this, because there is a little element of, the novelty is gone. Now it's got to be real. How do you onboard a new salesperson that never worked in our industry if we're not together? It's challenging, isn't it? I find it with developers and people in IT. They just love it. We're sitting in Cardiff and we have people working from London and all over the world because they can do that job. But then there are other pockets where you still need that banter. You need somebody to step in on the call with you or on the Zoom conference with you. It is challenging, and every country is different.
Right.
Some countries going to have more extreme lockdowns again. We got, Italy is having 70% of all the staff back in the office, and the same in the UK, partly in France. Some other countries just decide to hold off a bit. So certain places it's almost business as usual. But then, like you guys, been in lockdown, what now, for three months?
Exactly.
And so have I, really, because we with the head office in Cardiff, we decided, we can work from home. So you don't have to expose people to do the commuting with public transport and all that. There are always going to be part of your business where that team thing and with new people and those things, it's sort of to move on at a certain point, or we need to crack it virtually, don't we?
Right.
So we're working a lot with, making the training available in Dojo and those tools in conjunction with the training sessions online. And, what kind of interaction are we going to have with our customers going forward? Something has changed anyway, hasn't it?
Sure.
I had a board meeting last week where there's like 10 of us from 7 different countries. And, the time we spend traveling to Dublin to have those meetings is taking ages. And all of a sudden it was all done in 2.5 hours.
Right.
Why haven't we done this before?
Yes. Yes.
We sort of, instead of having 3 to 4 board meetings a year where everybody meets up with all the stress of booking it and all that, now we're just going to do it once a year. And that's probably going to stay like that.
Right. Right.
And that's so training, instead of having a trainer in the office that trains, probably going to go digital.
Right.
And then we're doing business, isn't it?
Sure.
That's changing as well.
Right. Yeah, even if we're in the office, it doesn't mean that everyone else wants us in their office to come, meet with them face to face. And you're going to have people like me who, like I said, I'm broadcasting out of my kitchen, which is a wonderful thing in between Zoom calls to pop over to the fridge and grab a little snack in between. Yeah. So there's no issues there. But we have a couple of questions that have come in that I do want to get to here. First one. Are there any culture building initiatives that you wished you'd launched sooner?
Yeah, I mean, it's the Safe FM. We've been talking about it for 7 years, and now we just did it. It just makes sense because there is a lot of departments who like to have a bit of music on in the background, and
sure.
There's new technology now where it's so easy. I mean, we paid peanuts to have it. And it works quite well just from a laptop.
Right.
Using, the Zooms and the Teams of these worlds to a much larger extent, we definitely should have done before. Mm-hmm. But from a cultural point of view, I mean, what is culture? Well, it's definitely evolving all the time, isn't it? But it's a great tool to have cross-border interaction, isn't it?
Right.
You said just a Texas Hold'em tournament. You start in the countries and the semifinals, and
yep.
Brilliant. And again with the Safe FM and the US guys are broadcasting, and there's comments from all the world. You get to know people you wouldn't know.
Right.
Pushing active news on a regular basis, we haven't been that good at that from a group perspective.
Mm-hmm.
Now, we've been going through a phase with daily newsletters. Now we got it as a news desk website that, the success stories from around the world. And, I mean, I love the fact that some of the stuff we did in the beginning. So what are we going to put into this newsletter? So we realized there were so many babies being born. So it's follow-up. So we had like 2 weeks in a row with new Credit Safe babies born in the last 2 weeks. I think 30% of them have both mom and dad working in Credit Safe.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah, so that's a proper Credit Safe baby.
I would say a little matchmaking going on there.
And we had sort of things like the best back garden and stuff like that. So yeah, we've done much more of this before.
Gotcha. This question is, how did you target or look at each individual country and building a culture within that then connects to the bigger culture?
So we're going a bit back historically now. Yeah.
Yep.
Well, we sort of started in Norway and Sweden, and then they tried to crack UK from London. So I came over then in the beginning of 2002, and I would say to a large extent we hadn't much of a culture. Mm-hmm. It was each country to themselves, and that's when I had the carte blanche to go a bit mental. That's why I took the job. So it's built up the Philly office, right. And we just realized how important the well-being and the humor is for the staff, and also bit more tuning on what is our tribe.
Sure.
Tribalism and these things. So we we decided we're going to be the disruptors and we're going to be the wild kids on the block kind of thing. And all that was set. And when I started then, the other countries like Germany and others, I said, whatever you say, this is 90% Credit Safe, 10% local.
Right.
Some mistakes on that.
Sure.
We were quite adamant that the core of what we do is replicated, because we tried conforming And in a way, this is what we're good at. We're good at getting people going and those things.
Okay.
But in Japan, of course, it is a bit different. The culture gap, for them, it's not natural to be outgoing and doing massive kickoffs. So we have conformed a little bit. And once you grow up into the high end and more field sales, okay, we give them more space. But there is an underlying credit safe culture, which we sort of cemented with 2012 and 2017 when we were having this trips to Alcudia with 800 credit safers and all that. So yeah, it's a work hard, play hard culture.
Right. And that transitioned well in the different countries. I think this is specifically thinking like around this COVID time and everything like that. So giving some license to each country to do their own thing, but then kind of that whole work hard, play hard thing. Okay.
Yeah. But, if somebody had a good idea, we broadcasted it. And therefore you got the morning exercises happening in Japan and US and everywhere, So,
right.
So we're making sure that, they can steal from each other.
Right. Right. Well, we're not stealing. We want to say that borrowing from each other. I don't want to say I've stolen some of this stuff for the webinars. Come on now. Yeah. Oh, well, Cato, I don't want to take up a lot of your time here. So I appreciate the time being on here. I know it's in the evening there in Cardiff. So I want to say thank you for being on here. And real quick, folks, before we jump off, two things. One, I want to let you know about a couple of upcoming webinars next week. We have one, it's a partner webinar with Sarala. That's Know Your Customer. That is on Wednesday, August 5th, next Wednesday. And then on August 6th, that Thursday, we have Automating Credit Decision Making with Check and Decide. So both those are happening next week. You will get links to those on your email that you'll get as a follow-up. And per Cato's request, I'm going to share my screen here and send us all off with the latest Credit Safe live song. And hope you enjoy. Thank you so much for joining us. Thank you, Cato, and enjoy the song.
Okay, Credit Safe, let's do this. I'm the one-way motorway. I'm the one that drives away, follows you back home. I'm the street light shining. I'm the one like lightning bright, burning up the low. It sounds like easy to again. It sounds like this again. It sounds like easy to love again. It sounds like this time again. I'm a little divided to escape. Leave it all behind. Oh. It sounds like these love to do again. It sounds like these again. It sounds like these love to love again. It's times like these, time and time again. It's times like these you learn to live again. It's times like these you get again. It's times like these you learn to love again. It's times like these, time and time again. It's times like these you learn to love again. It's times like these you give again. It's times like these you learn to love again. It's times like these, time and time again. It's times like these you learn to live again. It's times like these you can again. It's times like these you learn to love again. It's times like these, time and time again.